keys still in it, his briefcase in it, but no Don Lewis.
Bro, this guy's like reading out of this world.
Like with what he said to me, if you was truly wanting to disappear and nobody know where you was at, would you leave your van where you got in a plane to take off? You wouldn't want nobody to know you was in the plane, because that's now a clue.
Do you think it was planted? I think someone else drove the van there. I don't know if it was planted there.
I think the police did a horrible job.
MFT makes me agree. Oh shit, I love
The cops
everything.
never looked at the van when it was out in the
Correct.
airport, and they let them bring that van back to Easy Street. And it was there for a couple of days before the cops come to look at the van. They even looked into it. A couple of days that van sat there.
That doesn't have windows.
They came and spoke with me because they found my
I think
fingerprints.
he's running into that one of me. No, there's a couple.
4 days before he disappeared, he dropped his van for me to do some work to. He talked me into going to Costa Rica. He said, come on and go to Costa Rica.
Why would you want to go to Costa Rica?
I think Russell was ever all about that.
He liked it down there.
Oh, there's a Jenny here. That is so rare. Did you get away with that? Really?
Investigation was that he would eventually move the big cat rescue or wildlife
What
leasing
the fuck?
as it was known.
He greets the shit out of that and then he sees. Oh.
We actually sent myself and another detective and did multiple interviews down in
Oh,
Costa
nice.
Rica. We spent about 4 or 5 days in the area to try and determine if there was any link there at all.
And how did you get to Costa Rica?
He flew commercial out
What?
of
I pressed it though.
Miami.
But Don did
Did I
fly
not
a lot
mention
of
Play?
planes. He owned, I don't know how many airplanes he owned. But all of his planes were small, and you could not fly those things. That's
It's impossible with the size and types of planes that Don had that I know of, that he could nonstop go from here to Costa Rica. You'd have to make 4 fuel stops. It's just not in the cards.
I don't believe that Jack Don Lewis flew to Costa Rica. There's nothing at all to indicate that Don left his van there and got in a plane and crashed it somewhere. There was no record of any takeoff of an airplane. There was no flight filed, nothing.
Don lost his pilot's license the day after he got it, so he never flew legitimately again. Every flight he ever did after that, and there were a lot of them,
Can't win
he
that
was
really.
flying
He's always going to be
illegally, so no,
zoned
he wasn't reporting.
at the end.
He would go down over the Gulf of Mexico, down underneath the level where radar picks you up.
My understanding is he went to evaluate some new plane that was for sale. I was told that he was pushed out of the plane, out of the door, 50 feet over the Gulf, way out.
If he had any kind of an accident out over the Gulf, we never would have found anything.
I'll take this. And then pop it in.
He had had several plane crashes and had really damaged himself in one of them. And I don't think he was ever completely right
2 people.
after that last crash.
I mean, this is not a good pilot.
Seeing behavior
Probably
in
end up in a
him
hit for
that
you.
just didn't make
Just
any
leaving it.
sense.
I
Like,
wanna-
he could remember things from
50-50
way
that
back
one.
when he was a kid, but
Oh,
he couldn't
that is a free
remember
hit
where
for
he
me.
was for the last 5 minutes.
And
one of
the
our
majority of the
volunteers
pilots
came
are
to
gone
me
by
and
now,
said
and it's
that
gonna be
that
hard for
looked
her.
like Alzheimer's to him. Maybe he doesn't know who he is. Maybe he doesn't know where to call home.
That's all bull.
Nice.
I don't believe a
Even if I
word
wouldn't hit that, she would
about
be stuck in the corner, so.
forgetfulness or any of that crap.
I don't want to waste my time
He knew
basically.
exactly what was going on, where, who, what, where, when, how,
Oh, but
why.
thanks
He
so
knew
much for
all that.
32, bro.
That's not a problem.
Nice to see you.
Carol
Hope you're
says he
doing well.
was an unusual man.
The eccentric's a good word to use.
Carol's smart.
I
She
think this is
set the
worth
stage
because
for-
this set is free.
He just up and disappeared, and we don't know what the hell happened.
And the bot has to
She
pay.
spent, I'm sure, a lot of time
I
setting
think
the
she's
stage
getting much
for
out
the
of this.
dementia and the forgetfulness.
According to diary entries allegedly written by Carol, she was feeling boxed in by Don's notorious cheating.
It's no use to leave him. I wish there was some way out for me.
Police combed the area, but after
I
a year
can
and a
say
half of
pretty
investigating
decent.
numerous theories, police still have no suspects.
Somebody,
Okay.
sometime, someplace, somewhere, somehow wanted to be rid of Don Lewis.
Nice.
And apparently they got their way. My understanding was that he was killed.
What? Is my min charge
We'll go
fucked?
there.
The game feels a bit weird. Sometimes it doesn't register. The thing is, demos timing on the minimal charge changes based on your ping. So if you have 10 more ping and you have like, and you're used to your normal ping, then you will actually press it early, if that makes sense. Which is pretty annoying because you can never be perfect. Because if you're too perfect on your ping spikes, you're just not gonna register. Which is pretty annoying. Unless you have extremely stable internet. What a gen, dude. What? Damn, this must be extremely rare.
It's worth just bringing up the music video Here Kitty Kitty about Carol killing her husband. And a look-alike Carol.
That bot would have had wall hacks if he would have been locked
feeds body
into
parts
looping
to her
mode
cat.
on that thing. But because there was no pallets,
He's got a
he was not in looping mode.
shit. You haven't seen Here Kitty Kitty, you don't know what you're missing.
Joe had everyone convinced she'd murdered her husband. And we were all going with it.
definitely
And
not.
me, as a reality show producer, oh, I was, fuck yeah, man, roll the cameras.
How much up
You
and
know?
down you have doesn't
So the
really
whole
matter for
world's
the
wondering, would you
min charge
actually
of the
grind
thread
your
is
husband
ping
up,
and
feed him to the
connection
tiger
quality.
so there's no evidence? I'm gonna show you some stuff that will put that right in your head.
Prosecute, there's just no use, there's nothing left but tiger trap.
I'm pretty sure she has MFT too.
People want to believe something that's just totally outlandish, and so
These tigers have such an acidic stomach that when you feed them a whole turkey, there's no bones that come out. Okay, it's gone.
Alright, GG's.
Is there any chance that Don had been killed by one of his cats?
No.
Why?
Maybe they're on Pyramid because
There'd
one of
be
them
body,
deceased.
there'd be blood, there'd be this,
Would
there'd
be
be
pretty
that.
odd for
No.
Pyramid, yeah.
There wasn't a cat out there that could eat 100 pounds of flesh. There'd be skeletons. There'd be
It's like, what are the
bones, there'd
chances
be
that
some-
4 randos have
His
been
own
hired?
kids demanded that they DNA test the meat grinder.
Mental weight for this?
Sheriff's office wouldn't do it.
we had a meat grinder. If you've ever seen a Butcher Boy
Maybe.
meat grinder, it's about that big around. That became like this wholly exciting thing that I ran him through that grinder, and it's like I couldn't have run his hands.
No,
through
they got
the
switched.
grinder, much less a body.
Not Pew and her anymore. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, there's another
three
theory
deaths.
that one of the buildings they built, there's a
Only
septic
one
tank
left.
underneath it, that he
One
was
make
put
it.
in that.
If we could ever get
Fang had mental
the
note for this.
law
Hi, come on.
to go
Nice to
in
see you,
there
man.
and dig up that septic tank,
It was all
I promise you
mental.
he's underneath that
Do
damn
everyone safe? No.
Hey,
Over
Carol. It's a voice from your past.
here. Everyone blackout.
Get me the fuck
my
out
safe.
from
Oh, I
under
don't
the
have what?
septic tank.
What?
It was in the ground.
No way
it
I
was
ran out.
operational. Judy had moved
That's
into the
a
property
national
before
crisis
Don ever
right there.
disappeared. So how would I have then put him in the septic tank?
Let's play some Trappy.
I believe that there's a lot of
They actually
people out
didn't
there
have
that
OT.
speculate and don't have anything.
It's all mental, man. They're in
One
our
day,
heads.
Somebody's going to stub
They're
their
in
toe.
our heads, man.
There is a God. Her name is Karma.
I had
She
to
has
start
a
therapy because of MFT. We couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, we heard all the
Could not
stories.
take it anymore.
We've done everything we could do in terms of trying to put those to rest, but sometimes legally you can't pursue exactly what you'd like to do. You have to stay within the bounds of the law.
Did you ever walk
Anybody
down the
could
street
be a suspect.
and then someone overtakes you
Now, having
slightly and
said
then
that,
you think
clearly
like
the most
probably it's made for
information we're
this?
going to give to the people that were closest to Don, and so that's where we've looked.
Or is that just
Anne
me?
McQueen was probably the closest person alive to Don Lewis. She watched out for his.
Bro's
best
holding a
interests. He
lettuce.
watched her back.
Bro, he's hiding.
Trusted
He's
Ann
hiding. He's hiding.
every penny he had. He would have been lost without her.
You can't see him.
I
Why is he holding a lettuce so the survivors can't see him?
Form of fashion that they wanted me to cooperate.
Who are the other suspects?
I think it was Mancur.
In any investigation like this, you go to the husband or the wife or whatever close family member that is still surviving, that is still
Super
around.
fucking groß. Du schaffst so.
Carol's mother wasn't a member of the sheriff's department. And I think he maintained some sort of, well, you know, that's my sister.
When the supermarket employee reaches the pallet before you. Definitely MFT, bro.
I'm sure he wouldn't just stand there.
I'm not losing it.
Her brother worked for the sheriff's department, but I don't think that there was collusion there.
I never really knew my brother because, gosh, by the time I was 15, he would have been, what, 9? So we never had much of a relationship. It's funny, he grew up to be a sheriff's deputy, which was the last thing I ever thought my brother would grow up to be, because he was so shy.
The day that Don went missing, the investigation indicated Carol had left Wildlife on Easy Street to drive to a nearby store named Albertsons to pick up some milk byproduct for the cats. This is at 3 o'clock in the morning. Her car broke down, and Carol ran into her brother, who was accompanied by another deputy. The second deputy gave her a ride back to her home. After that,
You heard him, Naughty. It's time.
Carol indicated the last time that she saw her husband was just several hours later, and he was never seen again. And I don't know, but I would have hoped that the detectives would have pursued that and made sure that there was nothing
Where are you coming from?
out of the
No.
ordinary about that.
Maybe if you have a sheriff that's in there that's
God.
saying, you know,
Sad.
hey, this guy's kind of crazy and, you know, dementia, and he does this all the time, he's probably, you know, maybe the sheriff's
Good.
department would drag their feet at that point and be like, well, you know,
I'm
let's
getting
just wait and see where
ideas.
it goes.
I will not lie. Law, law.
In her family, there just wasn't a lot of love for Don. I know her father, Carol's father, Vernon, could not stand him. Absolutely could not stand Don.
So Carol's dad, Vernon, come and built cages with me. He definitely had his daughter's back.
I just felt like Carol did
Oh my God, that's
something,
actually hooking
and
here.
they needed to protect her and get the money. Just get the money.
After Don disappeared, Carol and Vernon, her dad, had
Next
asked
obsession
me,
is good to know.
Kenny, we need to get something from the office. You know, like I say, I did this kind of stuff
Oh,
for
he's
Don
kind of getting
Lewis
stuck, isn't he?
for years. When he
Oh,
needed
good.
something done, I would just go do it for him.
I got a phone call stating that the office alarm had gone off and Carol was there. Her and Kenny
Do you
Farr
leave the room? No, you
had
can let.
cut the
Okay.
locks on the gate, cut the locks on the office.
Okay. Now
Cut
we're
the
stuck on
power
the
to
short side.
trailer, cut the water, cut the sewer.
Boink.
The cops come because the alarm went off, and the queen come up
Can I
because that's her office.
drop
you know
myself
what I
on
mean?
the stack a
She's
little
been
bit
here for
here?
years.
There were 2 wills and there were 2 power of attorney in my office in a box underneath my desk.
Can I do the...
Paperwork or whatever they needed, there was nothing
I mean, what?
that the cops could do to stop the wife taking anything.
Going to the power of attorney, they were all taken.
Oh. Oh my crap. You know what crap? You know how to play the mastermind? Yeah, I am. I'm about to become the mastermind.
Learning on the new documents, bro.
That new power of attorney gave her control over the estate.
But she prepared his power of attorney. A normal person would put
Okay.
upon my dad, you know.
You know what?
First sentence
It's fine.
upon my
Alright, Laurie, come.
Isn't it suspicious that the power of
Oh, I didn't hit
attorney
that.
upon my disappearance? Is that normal?
Where are you going?
I have, in 37 years, never seen.
Where does Blood think he's going?
Disappearance. Never had. In that
Oh my God, this
respect,
map
it's
is evil.
terribly
I didn't even think
I
about
don't
it.
know who anticipates. Everybody anticipates your death, but who in the world anticipates disappearance?
I have one more card, maybe. No,
After Don disappeared, Carol and her family got rid of everybody that worked for Don. They got rid of everything that he owned.
There was a note pinned to the refrigerator door that said, "Never speak that man's name again in this house." Do you remember that? Donna telling us that?
I remember that very well.
Yeah.
But then what about all of
This
Don's
guy's a demon.
assets? Not the insurance policy, but
I had nothing to do with that.
all his real estate, all of his holdings.
All went under his will, didn't it?
The
Great
will
escape,
wouldn't
Judge.
come into play because
They're getting away.
if you disappear, you can't do anything for 5 years.
What?
And so
What?
Carol had him declared legally dead.
Bro,
5
he
years
just
and 1
stepped
day
into a
after
trap, instantly freed herself with holding stone and went down. Let's go.
And here's the latest on the case. A judge has just declared Lewis dead since he's been missing 5 years. But Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies say they will keep
Absolute
the case
peak.
open until they have proof.
A lot
favorite
of things
Hucknall.
happened during those 5 years. A lot of things were moved around.
She took out a lot of good things for herself and put in bad things in their accounts.
We ended up with all the yucky stuff.
This guy says off the record.
She was taking property out of Don's name and our names and putting it in her name.
I was the other woman for years after the kids came back, and they said that the mother didn't get a fair settlement, and they tried to take him back to court to get more money out of him. That's when he disowned him. And so he said to
This is like
nullify
a
their
factory.
trust, but I didn't, because I felt like those are his kids, and someday he's going to feel differently, so I left it in place.
Bro, she freed herself
what's the
again.
theory that makes them
No way. How do you fall for holding stone twice?
There's no proof. I feel the one that would benefit the most
my
from something
stars.
happening to my father is Carol.
She knows.
You've got to look at it in the eyes of the law. I mean, I can sit here on this interview and tell you I've killed 37 people a week. Well, that's okay. But you got to have the bodies. It doesn't count.
His wife says the worst part is not knowing. No closure and no redemption for her.
There's no way that I can finally say, I didn't do it. I can't do it.
Nothing has ever shown up on this case whatsoever.
That poor woman is having to live under a cloud of suspicion.
She sure is.
Hell, for the fun of it, let's see. Carol's bitching that she has this black cloud over her head of people thinking that she fed her husband to the tigers.
I mean, imagine that maybe she didn't have anything to do with it. Let's say she did love Don and she did mourn his death tremendously. To live with people constantly saying those things and making those accusations, you know, that can be hurtful and can change a person too.
Was there ever a formal memorial? So no one.
I remember the day his death certificate came. I opened the letter, and I remember looking out the window, and then the next time I remembered anything